It's Alan. I think it's August. I think it's the 19th. It's, I think, Tuesday. But this is the site where they dumped all the cooking oil, and they've started the cleanup, but it doesn't look like they've really touched any of this. You know, and all of this has the potential to run off the next rain event we get, which is pretty much every day. Which is, don't take it the wrong way, it's a good thing, but not when you got this stuff still laying on the ground. And all this sand that's absorbed the oil. And it's called wash off. You know, and yeah, they didn't even suck up everything. Because this was in my first video. And this is, let me move over here. There's one of those sand skink boards that I was talking about for the sand skink study, but back in the background, there's that water tower. And here's another one of the sand skink boards right there. You know, so they did do a sand skink study back here. And trust me, this area is very well known. And they didn't even suck it all up. You know, it's still here. I can't believe this. They sent one truck out. Why aren't they back here? Why isn't there more or less a train of trucks coming in here and sucking this stuff up? You know, they just put a news report out that they were out here cleaning this stuff up. But there's some area that I showed, you know, because this is like a parking lot. It's got 3 streets that run through it, and that's none of that's been touched. And they were out here sucking this stuff up. But yet, pretty much still here, the same as it was yesterday. Wow. Huh. And I was worried about making a false statement that 4 days later, it was still the same. Well, now I believe it's 5 days later. And I'm sorry, I lose track of the days, but there's another one of the sand skink boards. Just to kind of prove the study was done, I'm not crazy. Because there's another board right in the middle of all the oil. And this stuff is still running off. You know, I mean, it's still flowing out from underneath the concrete curb. I mean, I can't believe I'm back out here going to walk through this stuff again. And it stinks, man. If you've ever been around a grease trap at a restaurant, well, this is grease and oil, and it's from a septic pumping truck. So who knows what's really in it? And they're just going to keep leaving it here. Wow. And they didn't suck up. I can still see liquids way back there. And you know, the stuff that was running off in this area, it still looks like it still has a little bit of flow coming from. Yeah, it does have flow. I can see it. I don't know if my camera will pick that up. But the water is flowing. Not fast, but it's still flowing out here. So, you know, they claim to be doing proper cleanup, and it has started. But nobody's out here today, and this is, I'm going to guess it to be around 2:30 Tuesday. And this is the area over by the, I think this is like a transfer station or substation for Duke Energy. And I really believe the only reason they came out yesterday is because Duke Energy, I met up with the guy, one of their workers, that was out here, and he couldn't believe that they hadn't come out yet. So I'm sure they made a call, you know, Duke Energy made a call, because I believe they own part of this, but it's actually the adjoining property, it's definitely theirs. So, you know, it's funny how big, powerful company, the power company, can make a phone call and they come out and suck a little bit of it up. But they really didn't fix any of this problem, because this is still, I mean, I can see underneath it. Hopefully the camera picks it up. See if I zoom in, whether it'll make it better. But it's still flowing under it. And this thing is, it's not as full as it was yesterday, but it's still leaching out of there or running over. It's still coming out here onto the soils. There's another one of those sand skink study boards. And there's another one. So I guarantee you this has killed a lot of the sand skinks that may have been here. Because in this area, I promise you, this study proved they are here. You know, the habitat for sand skinks is here. But this little stuff, man, I don't know, it's just squishy. It's supposed to, I'm sure it's supposed to absorb something. I don't really see that it has absorbed anything. You know, it's not covered in grease. You know, oh, it's got a little on the bottom, but their solution to contain it or absorb it really don't work. And it is just laying on the ground. You know, it's not pinned to the ground. It wasn't trenched into where it might have created a blockage, some way to contain it. And the stuff that was out here in my previous video has now permeated into the ground. And nobody's out here cleaning this stuff up. I would think this would be an emergency where the emergency response team would show up. Because I had an accident one time and my machine came off the trailer. It landed on its side and I spilled about 2 quarts of transmission fluid. You know, it was an emergency to have it cleaned up. And because of the emergency, I paid like $2 grand. And believe me, I contained it. There was a dump truck driver there and he had a little bit of sand. So I surrounded it with sand, something that would absorb it. And I already had it absorbed and swept up into a little pile. And it cost me $2 grand to have the emergency response team come pick it up. And I'm sorry, but this don't really look like cooking oil here, man. It's awful dark. But, you know, I'm no expert at this, but this is nasty. And nobody's here doing any more cleanup. So, I guess if you come suck up 4,000 gallons, because that's the average of what one of those trucks can haul, 4,000 to 6,000. Well, a semi is 6,000. And the truck in the video is not a semi. But undoubtedly this is not an emergency to pick up. I'm sorry, I drink from a private well, and yeah, it's a freaking emergency. Because there's other people, there's, can't think of the name, Happy Trails. A subdivision that's got big acreage, not big, 5 acres, bigger lots. And it's home to people that want horses. You know, they love their horses. It's not that far from here. And the water does flow under the ground. It's called the Aquifer. Man, this is freaking sad, man. It's disturbing as hell. Oh, man. And here's another sign of trucks that have backed in here, almost got stuck. And I'm sure it's those trucks that are dumping. And this is shameful that people bring their trash out here when we have curbside pickup. I mean, look at these freaking propane bottles. So we have an environmental problem here, but this is also a problem too. You know, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 small propane bottles have been dumped out here. And these are aerosol cans. You know, I bet all of them say proper disposal. But freaking mankind just ain't so kind anymore. And they'll come dump stuff that they would pick up at your curb. You know, and let me walk back over this way, because this stuff just irritates the shit out of me, what people do. Throw their trash all out here. Because that's siding, most of that is siding from a house. And the sign that it's a siding contractor. Because this didn't blow up a house, because there's not a house probably within a few miles from here. But this roll of probably Tyvek, it's already mentioned companies, but yeah, it's Tyvek. This stuff's like $90 a roll. Yeah, it's Tyvek, sure enough. It's a wrap they put on behind vinyl siding. That's about $100 and something roll that they just threw out here. I should pick it up and take it with me, but I'd probably get caught for stealing. You know, picking up somebody else's trash and reusing it for something good. Because I use Tyvek for a lot of different things. And if I have to crawl under a mobile home, I'll roll that stuff out so I don't get all dirty while I'm under the mobile home. Or I mean manufactured home, sorry. Oh, man. But people bring all their stuff out here. You know, louvers. You couldn't throw that box in your trash. You got to bring it out here to get rid of the box that the louvers came in. And then bring all your cut down palm trees and just dump them out here. You know, what is wrong with people? Because you can dump that in your front yard and they'll come by. You make a phone call, they'll come get it. Couches, they're a little harder to get rid of, but you can make the phone call and they will come get it from your front yard. It's part of your taxes. Freaking people, man. What happened to mankind? I guess they forgot the kind part. And we damn sure forgot that the earth sustains all life. And it contains all the water. Now we're drinking all bottled water, and I even ask people about their water. Oh, I don't drink the water from the tap. I drink bottled water. And I give them that strange look like, really? You don't drink tap water, you drink just bottled water. Do you not realize it comes from the earth? And I know most of my followers understand it, but my point is, there's a ton of people that think bottled water is special in that plastic bottle. You know, I saw one that advertised, I forget the words, BMP, BPMs or BPCs, the contaminant. And it said, you know, them letters free. And I started wondering, are they telling me they're not charging me for it, or that it doesn't have it in it? You know, because you wonder, because advertising, man, they don't always tell the truth. They can tell you it's a health bar, but it's not healthy. So they could tell you that something's free, and actually they're, by legal law, they're telling you we're not charging you for it. Now they may be telling you it's not in it, but advertising laws confuse things. Anyway, back to the road. One more look. Contamination straight ahead, or all over this, but the main part is right there. And then you pan over, there's the water tower with the aeration system on top. Good indication that it's a municipal well, not just a tank of water. And then you got the 2-year-old school that is supplied water from that water tower. And then of course here's the CVS. And the other day I think I may have said I was at 1792 and Sand Mine Road. Sorry, I got a little confused. You know, when I'm out here doing this, my mind is crazy. But actually I'm at the corner of 27 and Sand Mine Road. Anyway, it's Mitch Allen. Till we meet again, we can, and together we can do more. Y'all have a blessed day.